Hello and welcome back to WTF is AuDHD with sisters Ellie and Paige. We were diagnosed late.
And we're here to educate.
Yeah! We were diagnosed late with autism and ADHD, which is AuDHD. Yeah, can you tell? And this podcast is to basically try and add to the research pool about what the F it actually is and how it manifests and how it's different from just autism, just ADHD, blah, 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 blah. We've got Reggie joining us.
This is cat for the podcast listeners. My kitty cat.
If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see the little kitty right now.
Wadgy woo. Wadgy wadgy woo. I love you. Yes, I do.
Does anyone else make up songs and voices for their pets, or is that just us?
No, it's definitely a universal thing. And if you don't, then
I think
be banished.
Do you reckon it's a neurodivergent thing more so?
Possibly more so. I don't know.
Yeah,
Who knows?
But here we are. We're breaking the big barriers. We're revealing the research that we've had in our life living with this condition. Last episode we talked a bit about what AuDHD was. It was pretty surface level, pretty vague, and it was mainly our experiences with certain things like friendships and stuff. But this episode, we're going to be talking about the contradictions of AuDHD, why it can be such a hellscape to live with internally, because they can be almost contradictory conditions. That's how it feels anyway. It feels like you've got two brains in your brain constantly fighting against each other. That's what I said to my psychologist who diagnosed me with autism, and she said to me, Ellie, did you read that somewhere or did you just say that? And I was like, I actually just said that. And she was like, that is one of the most common occurrences that we find with people with AuDHD, that it feels like you've got two brains fighting against each other. And I think also being a high-masking woman can make things even worse because we internalize it. Again, generally, this is not just all women and not just no men, but we
it's just more common.
We internalize it heavily. And then we appear like we're absolutely fine and we're neurotypical because we don't look autistic, we don't look ADHD. So yeah, they look pretty normal.
Which when we say look, by the way, that's just what people say. It's not an okay term.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what does it look like? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
But it's so annoying when people say like, oh, you don't look autistic. It's like, sorry? Pardon? That's like offensive.
What does that look like?
What do you mean?
Yeah, what does autistic look like?
What do you mean? Like, what?
Like, actually explain it to me now.
Explain it to me.
Like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Okay, anyway, so this episode, as we said, we're going to be talking more about the contradictions of the two in the brains. Now, should we start with what you said before, Paige? You were just speaking off camera, off mic, about one of your big contradictions, or one of the reasons that you might appear all good, but what's actually quite stressful for you every single day.
Insane in the membrane.
Yeah.
Insane in the brain. What was I saying? Yeah. The yeah. Okay, sorry. Had like half a bar of chocolate before I jumped on this. So yeah, I'm very sensitive to sugar and I will fucking go crazy until I get tired.
Yeah, Paige is either up or down.
Yeah.
Like it's extremes, one or the other.
Okay. I was talking about how I find it hard or exhausting just doing normal, I guess, daily tasks like brushing my teeth or, like showering and washing my hair. Like, oh my God, it is exhausting. This was worse back in the day before I knew and before I was diagnosed and medicated for my ADHD. It's gotten better now. But I find that stuff very exhausting. But then what forces me and pushes me to do it is if I don't shower and wash my hair or brush my teeth, the sensory nightmare for me is awful. And I can just feel the ick.
Yeah.
And so that's what I guess drives me to then go do that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I guess as well the fear of being perceived and smelling and having greasy hair. But so that's what I'd say is like I actually find that stuff very tiring and overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I have to do it because of the sensory side.
Yeah. So like, I guess you could even say like, is there actually sometimes an advantage to having both because one kind of pushes the other? It can be a good thing, but then it can also be a bad thing.
Well, it's a bad thing because you each one masks each other, therefore you're stuck in the middle.
Yeah, stuck in the middle with you. That's so off key.
Oh my God.
But you know that song,
ew.
eh? You know that song?
Stuck in the middle.
With you. Yeah,
no, what is it?
Yeah, I don't know now. It's really annoying me.
Oh, that's really pissed me off.
What song is that?
Stuck in the middle with you. Is that it?
I don't know. We're just gonna keep
Stuck
trying.
in the middle with you.
All right, let's give the people some actual content.
Yeah,
eh?
sorry guys.
No, so lot of the time, a lot of contradictions with the old autism and ADHD. The first one might be this is the thing as well. Like we said before, AuDHD is very different from just autism and just ADHD. So, for example, when it comes to attention, just like attention regulation, like e.g. us trying to just sing songs during a podcast, ADHD is probably more easily distracted and hyperfixates on certain things for a limited amount of time, and then goes through cycles where they're like, I love this, and then I love that, and then I love this, and then I love that.
Are you explaining my life right now?
Yeah.
Because that is crazy stuff.
Yeah, crazy. So then there's autism, who often, generally, they have longer term hyperfixations, like long term special interests, and they're quite like, they know everything about that one thing, and it goes over a period of years, maybe their whole lifetime. So that's different from the constantly changing. But then when you've got AuDHD, you can have a hyperfixation on something long term, but then get distracted by external stimuli. So even though you love that special interest, you can't always fulfill it because you're getting distracted or going away from it due to another dopamine seeking behavior or stimulation in your environment. Do you find that?
What'd you say?
Oh, cheers for listening. Well, I find that like I have clear special interests, like I love Formula One, or like I've always loved people. I always want to research it, but then my ADHD and executive function actually stops me from getting immersed in it fully sometimes. It's really confusing. So sometimes I'll go really fixated on something and then not, but then my interests are long-term, but I'll kind of fixate on them at like different times in my life. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a long-term interest, but I only fixate on it every now and then.
Oh, yeah, I see.
I feel like that's my manifestation, whereas autistic people are more so long-term constantly. ADHD people more so different.
Oh, okay. You know, I can see a great example for me.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so obviously I used to do athletics, so let's not count that because I was like, I went to training and I was like kept accountable. But as an adult, who says adult? Adult? I don't know why did I say that. Everyone says adult.
Don't even know what the real one is.
I love gymming and physical activity. I guess this also comes back to like the routine thing though. It's like I'd always want to go to the gym. I'd stick at it for like a week because I would say that's like not my special. I don't know. I love.
No, you've always been quite obsessed with like biomechanics and physical activity and like the body and keeping it fit and stuff.
Yeah, no, I have actually, and I was about to get on another tangent about what I studied at uni, but let's just stay on track.
Stay on track.
Lost my flow there.
You've got a long-term interest in that?
Yes, but and so I'd stick it to it for like a week and be like, oh my God, this is just like amazing. And I'll be obsessive over it. And I'll like, be just doing everything with it and just doing all this and that. And it's just great chat, really. Sorry. And then I'd fall off the wagon for like a month or 2 or 3.
Yeah. And sometimes it'd be 6 months. And you look back and go, oh, I used to go to the gym every week. And now I've just forgotten that I even started that. Like it's actually an object permanence thing too, where I go, I will create a routine for a bit and then I won't even realize I've fallen out of it until like maybe a month later where I go, wait, I was like going to the gym like every 3 days a month ago. And now for the last 6 weeks, I haven't done it. Like what?
Yeah, no, I feel
real
it.
confusing.
No, yeah, I see what you mean now. I think I struggle to like think of examples of my life.
Because it's your life?
Because it's my life and it's so normal for me.
Yeah.
Or like I've dealt with it for so long that, but then when you say that and I really try and extract it, like, then I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, we're just like, it's just volatile. Like it's nothing's ever consistent or like long standing.
No, and I hate it.
And I hate it too because I wish it was.
Yeah, it's real frustrating.
It's so frustrating because the autistic side of me does want that routine and that predictability and that special interest that stays with me forever and I keep looking into, but the ADHD side of it stops me from it. And then it's stressful.
Yeah.
Really stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that can be common with ADHD and autism is the social interaction thing. So like ADHD, you might enjoy elements of socializing and getting dopamine from activities you do with people or conversations you have with people. You might be really impulsive and talkative and outgoing and stuff. But then the autistic experience of that can be confusing and not liking social interactions because they're not clear or it's unpredictable.
I think that's got to be the biggest confusion for me in my life.
Yeah.
The social side.
Yeah. and then like
the contradiction of it.
Yeah, and the small talk that you want, that you don't want, but then you do want to connect with them, but then you don't know how to connect with them.
Yeah.
And then I think the AuDHD experience, like you're explaining, becomes confusing because you do want to be impulsive and talkative with all your friends, but then you also don't want all of the overstimulation that comes with it and the confusing social rules that you have to adhere to.
Yeah, and the fear of being perceived, that plays into it. So before like a social gathering, I overthink the F out of it and like what will happen, how I'll say things. I will come up with a script prior, like what I'll talk about. Okay, what have you been up to? What questions are you going to ask them? Like, and so that in itself is such an anxiety. And if I don't feel prepared enough, I'll probably just bail because, but then it sucks because I don't want to bail. I actually enjoy.
You want to be there.
I want to be there. I want to be part of it. I want to get the invite. I want to be with my friends. I want to connect with people. But the other side of me is just constantly overwhelmed and stressed.
Yeah.
And then on top of that is all the logistics around like getting there.
Yeah.
The parking situation.
Yeah.
Like
the temperature, like is it hot there? Is there shelter there?
Yeah.
Is it inside or outside?
Yeah.
Who's going to be there that I might know or haven't seen in a while?
Oh my God, am I going to see anyone I kind of know and I'm not prepared to see and therefore don't have a script and mask ready to see that person?
Yeah, it's actually so weird, eh? But then honestly, I don't think many people would even know that about you if they saw you in that social situation. They'd go, oh, Paige is quite friendly and funny. Like she's quite out there. And I do think that some people would perceive you as not struggling as much as you are.
No, yeah, I feel like it's written all over my face. Like I feel like everyone can see me and I'm naked. That's how it feels.
I don't think it is though. I think you actually do quite a good job at pretending you're okay. And I think women are generally more skilled in doing that because often we have to put our needs second, especially if we're mothers. We learn to put our needs second.
Yeah.
As a mum, I'm not a mum, but I think that's probably true. And so we're quite good at just hiding and masking.
Well, also we see our mums put themselves second our entire lives.
Yeah.
Well, that probably sounds hectic, but as a generally, it's kind of true.
Yeah.
They put their lives on hold to bring their kids up.
Yeah.
The father's life doesn't change. I mean, it does change.
And this is
don't come for me, but they in terms of like being able to carry on their career, they carry on with their career. Mums put everything on hold. And so we see our mums doing that. So maybe like from such a young age, we're kind of just like subliminally and subconsciously learn that, okay, so
I come second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a female.
Yeah, as a female. So yeah, social confusion. You want it, but you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
That's a huge like contradiction of AuDHD, I find.
Yeah, yes. And that was one thing where I scored on my autism screening on all like both the tiers, like so high on the social masking and social the social side. It was compensating. Yeah. And I think that's why like as well, like after like seeing someone in a social situation or going to a social event, I'm like absolutely exhausted for like hours, if not like a whole day. And so there's like that to take into account too. Like, is it going to be worth it? Like, is the ROI for this catch up,
the return on investment
worth how I'm going to be feeling after this?
Yeah.
That's so stink because
and because it's an unknown situation, you might walk away from that situation going, oh, that was so worth it. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I went. But before you go, you can't guarantee that.
No.
And so it's a risk that you're taking. So it's like, is it going to be worth it? I guess I just have to take the risk today.
And you don't know what you're stepping into. You don't know how it's going to pan out. And that's stressful.
Yeah, exactly. I actually find like sometimes like in my car, like on the way to work maybe, I will be pumping some sort of music or a podcast or something and I'll be stimulating myself or whatever. Without fail, and I don't even realize I do it, every time I drive home from work, I am sitting in silence. The radio's off. I haven't even thought about turning it on. And I'm just dissociated, not thinking, just driving. And I get like nearly home and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't listened to anything. I've literally been dissociated. And it's from me being at work for 8 hours and having to deal with like people and the demands of it. I can't have music on when I go home because it's actually going to overstimulate me.
Oh my God, I relate to that so hard. I get like 20 minutes down the road, like, and it's almost like I come back to and I go, oh my God, have I been driving this whole time? Have I done anything wrong? But you're on autopilot that you are fine.
Yeah.
And if, someone swerves, your instincts would kick in.
Yeah.
But like you kind of come out of that dissociation and you go, oh my God, I have not, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's very, very confusing. One of the other contradictions or situations that we deal with, and this one's quite a big one for me, and I think you as well, is routine and structure. So people with ADHD don't really want routine. Like generally they enjoy the spontaneity of things. They like to be impulsive. They don't want to plan. They just want to go with it, just want to go with life. And sometimes I feel that way.
Sometimes I do, yeah.
Yeah. Autistic people more so need it to be the same. They need it to be predictable. They need to know what they're going into. They like having a weekly routine because they know on a Monday that's where they need to be at this time. And I also appreciate that and enjoy that. AuDHD, this is the biggest anomaly I find for me, is that I need and crave routine and structure, but I cannot stick to it or even create it.
Yeah.
And if it's created for me, I can follow it for a certain amount of time, and then over time I get bored and burnt out and I can no longer uphold it, and I find it very stressful. My mental health goes.
Yeah.
So like I said in the last episode, I want to work from home so I can predict my environment and have it all, perfect for me, but then I lack motivation and need stimulation, and then I go into an office and then it's all too much and I want to go back home again. And so I can never find the perfect medium when it comes to routine and structure.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel that. I've got a great example to add to that. When, say, if I am trying to catch up with friends or, someone says to me, hey, oh my God, it literally just happened yesterday, actually. Hey, we're down at the pub. Come for a drink. Oh, too soon. Not prepared. Oh
my gosh, me too. I can't do spontaneous plans like that.
Like, thank you. Thank you for the invite. I would actually, in an ideal world, love to come.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh my God, overwhelmed. And there's just too many things to think about. So, no, I can't.
Yeah.
Too late, like in advance, too late planning.
Mm-hmm.
If someone says to me, hey, Paige, in 2 weeks' time, do you want to go out for coffee on a Tuesday morning? I'll be like,
oh, so far.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing on Tuesday morning.
I don't know how I'm going to be feeling.
I don't know how I'm going to be feeling. I don't want to be locked in. And so that's actually one of a huge struggle for me is like,
me too.
Too late planning? No. Too far in advance planning? No. What the
So what's the happy medium? What is it with that? Like, what do you do then? Like, I don't know how to combat that.
Oh my God, that is a huge struggle of my life.
Yeah, same.
Like, what is it?
I don't know. I think because it's like my ADHD wants to keep that day open in case, I'm not feeling it. I want to do something else.
And spontaneous, yeah.
Yeah, but then my autism's like, no, you probably do need to know that 2 weeks in advance. And so you end up in this horrible middle no man's land.
Yeah.
And it's really confusing.
Yeah. So then I never catch up with anyone.
No, neither.
But it sucks because I want to, and then I don't want to lose friends, but I do lose friends because people don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing in terms of routine and structure, it's not just about like your timetable and getting up at this time. It's to do with even like systems and processes within your life. So like your drawers, for example, like your wardrobe. Okay, so if you walked into my house or Paige's house, it looks okay.
Oh, that's nice.
It's not like tidy and pristine, but it's like clean and it's like reasonably tidy and there's some order to it, and you'd walk in and go, oh yeah, this is quite a nice area.
Like aesthetically, externally, yeah,
this
is
nice.
Nice.
But if you open any of our drawers, wardrobes, cupboards, box, anything, you will see the stark opposite of what our house looks like. And that to me and us is a massive analogy and a perfect reflection of what's going on in our lives.
Yeah.
We look like we're together, but inside it is a mess.
Yeah.
Even the files on my computer are a mess. There's no structure to them.
Yeah.
And it makes me stressed constantly because I go to my wardrobe and I find it hard to dress myself anyway and choose an outfit. And then I open it and it's just info everywhere, too many things, overstimulated. I don't know what I want. And I wish I could just tidy it. And sometimes I'll find the strength to like tidy my wardrobe once every 3 years.
But then get halfway and then run out of energy.
Either that, I'll run out of energy and not finish it, or I get to the end, but then, and I go, I'm going to keep it this tidy forever. This is a new me.
But you believe it.
This is a new me.
You're like, oh my God, I've turned a new leaf. This is
oh my
me.
God. Yeah. And then 6 months later,
believe it. Yeah.
I blink and my wardrobe's messy again.
No,
I'm like,
you blink. Yeah, you blink and you're like, how did that
What
happen?
happened?
Someone's coming here
and ruin my wardrobe, but all bloody tidy.
She's getting in early. No, yeah, someone's coming here and bloody ruined my wardrobe, but really you
But it
just
was me.
probably dissociated because you're stressed and overwhelmed and then just let it happen one by one, t-shirt by t-shirt.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, no, that is huge for me too. Open up a drawer and you will think I'm disgusting.
Yeah, same. It's so bad. Like in our bathroom, my partner and I, we share a bathroom, and we have 2 massive drawers. You've got the same ones, Paige. 2 massive drawers in our bathroom. I'm taking up both drawers, and I only use probably 10% of what's actually in them. And Sam got these new creams the other day, and they're like these big pots, and he brings them upstairs, and I'm like, oh, I've been asked if you can put them in the drawers, eh? And he was like, yeah, it would. Like, he's just given up on me because he just knows it's how I am. And I've got these 2 drawers that I don't even really use, but I use for no reason. And it's really stupid.
Feels, bro.
Yeah, so routine and structure really lack the ability. Like, I almost want to bring someone into my home to set it up for me. And maybe that will help. I don't know. Maybe not. Because I also find it hard to follow someone else's process.
And also like someone touching all your shit.
That's really like
That's
intense.
like really like,
that is like, oh my God, don't look at my undies.
like,
yeah.
no. Don't touch my shirt.
Yeah.
Don't touch my Satisfy Pro 2. Not that you'd want to, but you know.
But like
don't look at it. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Don't look at my car. There's a piece of chewing gum on the phone. There's a piece of chewing gum in my car that's been there for what, 10 years now?
I reckon at least 10 years.
At least 10 years. And it's not mine, I will say. I literally, oh my God.
It was mine.
One day she borrowed my car. What a frick were you doing?
I don't know.
One day she borrowed my car to drive somewhere. I have ruined my microphone, but anyway. And she thought it was a good idea because she had gum that she wanted to get rid of. Good on you for not littering, but
Thank you.
I'll just litter in my sister's car.
Yeah, I'll just respect you, not the planet.
Yeah, sticks it on my dashboard and she goes out. It's a hot summer's day. She comes out. It's just like completely melted on my dashboard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's great. It has been there ever since. And I went and got a service the other day and I got a free clean with my service. And they cleaned my car like perfect. Like it was just like amazingly done. The one thing that was left there was this piece of chewing gum. It's still intact. And you know what? Fair enough. I wouldn't want to touch it either, but
You're probably like, what is that?
what the flip is that?
Doesn't even really look like gum anymore.
No, it's like disgusting. Anyway, why did we get onto that?
Oh, just, I don't know.
I think I was about to talk about my car and how bad it is.
Oh,
like it is
same.
so fucking messy.
It is so bad.
Messy, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a nightmare in the
And then
car.
I just thought of that, the piece of gum that's been residing on my
yeah.
car. I should charge it rent, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the thing that why we end up really why we end up really stressed and our mental health being poor is because we actually stress ourselves out. That's actually the biggest thing is that what?
No, don't blame me.
Do you not?
Dry. No, I definitely do.
Yeah, you definitely do. Yeah, I stress myself out and I get really angry at myself because why can't I just structure things properly? Why can't I just stick to things that I've done? It's a real confusing contradiction, that one. So then there's also sensory sensitivities. So with ADHD generally, we are sensory seeking. We love color, we love noise, we love sparkly new things, we love just sensory engagement, I guess you might say. Autistic people, on the other hand, generally avoid it. Bright lights can be too much and overstimulating. Noises, for me, noise is a huge one. Touch is a huge one for me. Don't touch me.
Smells for me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, I literally go into a meltdown.
Yeah, where you can get a meltdown from stuff like that.
No, yeah, I do.
But then with the AuDHD combo, you're both. So like sometimes I want to be seeking stimulation by doing something spontaneous. Like let's just, for an example, say that I might want to go out on the boat for a day with a friend who's invited me, say. Exciting, can't wait. But the problem with that is that my ADHD is trying to have fun, but my autism is overwhelmed by the sound, the smells, the speed, the motion.
The motion of the ocean.
Yeah.
Or just the preparation to even leave the house is way too much.
Exactly. So you, again...
Like, I need this, I need that. Do I have everything? Do I have all my needs met? Do I have everything I need in order to meet my needs while I'm out for 12 hours on a boat?
Exactly. Don't know. And then like another example might be a concert. I love music. I've always loved music. I've always loved singing, instruments, blah, blah, blah. And I do want to go and see my favorite artists in concert. Like that's such a cool experience and some elements of it are really fun. And on the other hand, I find it hugely stressful to get there. I find it hugely stressful to be in the crowd. The lights flash and like overstimulate me. The noise is too loud. You can fix that by wearing earplugs. But even then, there's so much sensory overload there. But I also do want the sensory stimulation of the music.
I also have that struggle, yeah.
Whereas,
I always struggle to understand like the funness around concerts because of all those things. But I would actually like to go see, you know, certain artists. Like the one that I did go see was Post Malone. I freaking love Posty. But the whole time I was spent very overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And quite mute.
Yeah.
And I didn't really
enjoy it.
And then I am the person that when I sense that there's like 3 songs to go, I'm like, I don't care what song it is. I am leaving before the rush, because God forbid I will be stuck here, not getting an Uber, not getting home when I want to be, fighting. Oh my God, having to walk 2 kilometers in order to get an Uber. So I'm always that person that's like, all right, we're going.
Yeah, me too. I always leave early because I can't handle the unpredictability. And that's why we actually last year, Paige and I, had a year off alcohol. And it wasn't because we were raging alcoholics or anything. We weren't like huge drinkers. I might have been
a little bit.
Well, I think you lacked moderation when you did drink, is maybe what I'd say.
No, actually, to be fair, before I was medicated, and which that was my substance abuse, and then I got medicated, and then I got better. Yeah,
and we had a year off last year just simply because we realized we didn't really love drinking. We were kind of doing it as a coping mechanism and to fit in and be social, and us and a few of our friends decided to have a year off alcohol. And it's actually one of the best things I've ever done, because it made me realize that I, first of all, was just drinking alcohol to fit in and just mask and help me cope with situations. But it also affects my mental health as well, which I think it generally does. But I found that I was actually enjoying life more because I could be in control of the logistics for things. So even though I might be going to someone's house for a party, I was actually less stressed because I knew my car was there and I could drive home if I wanted to. And that actually made the biggest difference for me. And now I actually do prefer to be sober so that I can escape if I want to.
Yeah, having an escape plan is so important.
It is so important. But then I do love being there with my friends, and I love being silly, and I love being hyperactive and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, like Paige is classic for this, she'll be at a party or somewhere, hyperactive, like intense, crazy, having
literally
fun.
In my bra, standing on the table, dancing like a freaking psycho.
Yeah, like just center of attention, like just life of the party, genuinely. And then in a matter of not even 5 seconds.
It's actually comical.
It's crazy. We'll be partying or whatever. And then Paige is crazy. And then I'll turn away for 1 second. I'll turn back and she's up to me and she's like, I'm leaving.
She sees the light like leave my eyes. And there's actually been times where, because it's such a comical thing that happens every time at like 1 a.m. it's like, like midnight, I'm like, oh, Ellie.
I can see her and I'm like, oh no.
It turned into a gag where any time that Ellie would see an ounce of me going, it'd be like, no, you can't. And I'm like, sorry.
Stay with us.
I can't do it. I gotta go.
And she literally has to go.
I literally have to go.
Have to go to sleep. Like we'd be, even at our own house, we'd be having a party. And like in an instant, she'd go from dancing on the table to being in her bed asleep.
No, yeah. Our friend had a great analogy for this, the wind-up Barbie doll.
Oh my gosh,
Great analogy.
Exactly that. Yeah, you wind her up, she's hilarious, and then literally her battery runs out in an instant. It doesn't just wear off slowly. No. It's like,
No, yeah. And I have a lot of friends that can vouch for that, actually. Yeah. Like, it's comical.
And it's kind of like your ADHD's having fun. And then the autistic side of you then just takes over and you're burnt out.
And I'm burnt out and I'm just exhausted. I'm like, I cannot simply go on.
Yeah.
You must leave me.
Exactly. You must go on. The next one, executive function. Both of these conditions have issues with executive function. ADHD is more struggling with planning, task management, prioritization of tasks. Autistic people can often be okay at planning and in some cases can actually plan quite well, like to a huge level of detail, but has issues just with cognitive processing or like having too much info all at once and not being able to process anything at all. So they're both having issues with executive dysfunction, but then they're kind of different causes. So then if you're AuDHD and you've got both, you can struggle with the task planning. You need the routine and order and the structure of it. You can kind of still plan it a little bit, but then you get overwhelmed by the info and then once again, you just do nothing at all. That's me. My executive function causes me to just do nothing at all. Like I just get, like we talked about the last episode, I'm just paralyzed constantly. There's no consistency to us, is what I would say. Yeah. It's like, it's all or nothing. It's one or the other. It's this one week. It's that next week. And it's just hard to live life sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think like you're like constantly in paralysis, like we said. And then I'm like a bloody pinball machine. No, like a bloody ding, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down. Like I'm almost going left, like to each extreme. at all times.
Yeah.
And then you're more so just stuck in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Like just you're frozen. We're really quite opposite in that way. And again, great example of two siblings being really different in this manifestation.
We're so different.
We're so different and quirky. Emotional regulation. We both autistic people and ADHD people can struggle with emotional regulation. And again, with ADHD people, it's a struggle. You can have severe rejection sensitivity dysphoria. So you struggle to moderate your emotions if you're feeling a sense or perceived sense of rejection.
Yeah.
You can lose it quite easily if you get overwhelmed. And it's really hard to moderate. Sometimes people end up, punching a wall. Often that can be more men. Like it manifests in like an anger and it's like overwhelmed, boom, physically let out the energy. Then you've got autistic people who are more like delayed in their emotional processing. So they have meltdowns, but only because of maybe sensory or overstimulation of everything, where the cognitive side of you just can't think, and so you just melt down,
freeze,
yeah, exactly. Or you might have an interaction where you don't process what happened for another week or two or a month, and that's confusing, and then that can lead to a meltdown later, but it's delayed, so it's hard to explain that to people because it could be something that happened 4 weeks ago and you're now processing it. But if you've got ADHD, you've got both, or this unique neurotype, you swing between the two. So like you might have meltdowns and delayed emotional processing, but then at other times just completely fly off the handle at nothing, or not at nothing, but something that's hard or you can't regulate and you can go off. So you kind of swing between like shutdowns and then like intense kind of outward meltdowns.
Yeah.
So it's again really confusing.
Yeah, just you saying it is just like so sad.
Yeah.
Because it's just you speaking to both our experiences, so I know how that feels. And it's just so confusing when you don't know what is wrong or what's going on. It is so hard and so exhausting, and you beat yourself up. And that's what's so sad about it all. Because again, it's like invisible in the sense of it's not like a broken, something that you can see. And yeah, you're saying it right now, and I'm just like, yeah, man, the amount of people that are out there still experiencing this, not getting the help that they need, makes me incredibly sad, which is why we're doing this, because we want to help people that were in our position when we didn't know, and now how much it's changed our lives, just like knowing and having things to put in place. I just think about all the people that are still walking this earth, that are still going through those struggles,
don't know what it actually
and don't know what it is, because we still go through those struggles, but you're able to sort of like reconcile it in your mind and put strategies into place to help. And
you're like, I'm more empowered because I know what it is, so I can try and work with my brain and counteract it. Or just if something happens to me or I'm feeling something, I can just identify it and go, oh, that's why I feel that way, and then just move on. Whereas before I'd be like, why do I feel this way? I'm useless. I'm the worst. And then
like the self-hate chat, the depression, anxiety around everything.
Yeah.
It's so shite.
It is very shite. One more. Obviously, there's a lot more we can get into here, but again, we don't want to make these episodes too long. We need you all focused and staying with us for the 30 to 40 minutes that we talk. But one of the last contradictions, and there's more of them, but the last one we're going to cover is like masking and burnout. So masking is where you're basically covering up your internal needs and feelings to try and fit into society, sort of thing. Both ADHD and autistic people have an element of masking where they're trying to fit in, not go unseen, don't look like you're out of place, don't make it look like you're different. That's why you write scripts for like your social interactions and stuff like that. With ADHD people, they end up with burnout because, as we previously mentioned in another episode, they might go hyperfixate on something like intensely for like, maybe it might be 24 hours, it might be a week, it might be a month. And during that time, when you're hyperfixating and really novelty seeking and your dopamine's just so high for whatever it is, you often forget to have a healthy diet. You don't drink water. You don't go to the toilet when you probably should. You don't get enough sleep because you're staying up and focused on it. And then that intense hyperfixation then turns into burnout because at the end of that, you're completely munted and you're exhausted. Then you've got autism, where the burnout actually more so comes from masking in social situations and just trying to fit in. So going outside and being overstimulated constantly, and then having to work harder in social situations, that leads to autistic burnout. When you've got ADHD and autism, so AuDHD, you've got both. You've got the exhaustion of your hyperfixation and your energy being used on whatever you're fixating on right now. And then that turns to exhaustion. And then at the same time, you're constantly masking, trying to fit in, counteracting all the sensory overload. And so you almost end up with double burnout. And that's why neurodivergent burnout is different to neurotypical burnout. And I believe that AuDHD burnout is like the
double whammy.
The double whammy. Like,
I am exhausted just listening to you. And you know what? Every podcast, this freaking light in this fan is just too much for me. And it makes my tics worse. So that's why I'm just like...
Yeah, by the end of every podcast, I feel like Paige talks less, and it's because she's got to the point where she's just overstimulated and kind of can't think anymore.
I can't do it much longer, and then I start to feel nauseous.
Yeah, it's hard. Like another thing that I really struggle with myself is that any person needs a good diet and needs good exercise and needs to look after themselves, right? We're a body that needs fuel and to be cared for and serviced like a vehicle. But I know that I thrive when I'm going to the gym, when I'm eating healthy, when I'm doing everything right, getting enough sleep. But often my AuDHD and my brain stop me from implementing healthy diets. I'm so exhausted that I just order Uber Eats because I can't face going down to the kitchen and sorting out an entire meal. And so then my diet, my health gets worse, and then all of my traits and manifestations of AuDHD also get worse, and then my mental health is suffering.
Yeah, can I just on that, it's kind of a tangent, but since I was diagnosed with ADHD and then medicated, then I felt that my autism kind of came to light more. Like I feel more in control and grounded in terms of my ADHD. So I'm able to now better stick at routines, which is just, well, still I don't, but I'm way better at it now. Can I just say that now that someone who drinks a lot of great filtered water, not tap water, who eats very well, lots of greens, who exercises every week, who has healthy habits, I really look after myself. Guess what? I still have ADHD.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Crazy. It didn't fix it.
It didn't fix it. So can I just say, because the amount of shit I hear, sorry, I'm getting a bit angry about this because I'm sick of it, seeing it online and people thinking that, okay, it is true that if you don't look after yourself, you don't get good sleep, you don't drink well, you don't eat well, your behavior may look and manifest like, you're whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, not looking after yourself is always going to result in different behaviors and stress and unhealthiness and mental unhealthiness too, not just physical unhealthiness.
So yes, that's true in that sense. But people try to say that ADHD is caused by like not eating well or like exercising or you should exercise and eat well. For someone who does all those things, I'm very ALE.
Oh,
you can
she
vouch.
is like quite intense about it, and I don't actually know how you do it because I can't even get my thoughts around that. I can't even do what you do.
Yeah. Now that I'm able to do that, I still struggle with my ADHD. Yeah. So if anyone says to you, "Oh, but like, do you try to eat some greens? And do you I barely eat bad food really." I never really eat takeaways. Like if I eat bad food, I'll like make something at home, like a chocolate self-saucing pudding.
Yeah, they're yummy.
Yeah, they're yummy. But just hear it from me. I'm extremely healthy and fit, and I still have ADHD
and autism.
AuDHD.
No, exactly. It doesn't fix it. It doesn't cure it, but it helps. It does help.
But people who try to say like, "Oh, it's not real. You should eat healthier." Sorry.
Yeah, it's not true. It's a neurological wiring of the brain. It's how the brain is working. And yeah, I get really frustrated at myself because I know I function better when I'm exercising well and I'm eating well, but often I honestly would say that my life is a series of phases. And you might even notice it. Like I notice it in my weight fluctuation. If I've put weight on, you probably know that my mental health's bad and I'm struggling and I'm burnt out and I'm not eating properly. I'm not exercising because I have nothing left to give. If I'm looking a bit thinner and healthier, also I'm not saying being thin is healthy, but for me, when I'm a bit thinner than I can be and I'm more muscly and healthy, I am probably doing okay in life. Like I think it's a real reflection of my mental health, my weight actually. Yeah. And it's a total overwhelm. And I get so angry because I really want to live a healthy lifestyle, but sometimes just some months of the year and especially during winter, I really, really, really struggle with it.
This is the ironic thing. It's like when people say like, oh, well, do you eat healthy and do you do it? It's like, that's the thing with ADHD. Like, I can't get into the routine and stick to it.
Yeah,
so
I'm trying.
Maybe I need assistance in order to implement those. Like I have. I'm able to implement better healthy systems because I am medicated.
Yeah, exactly. And it may not, again, medication may not work for you, but I've definitely got better at putting systems and processes in for myself, just knowing that I'm autistic/ADHD. I'm way more aware of it because I'm not spending all my energy hating myself. I'm just like going, okay, this is me. This is who I am. Now, how do I better work with myself?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's like a very, again, vague sort of, I mean, it's kind of deep. We've got into some depth here, but that's kind of some of the contradictions or the arguments between ADHD and autism and how living with it in your brain can be a hellscape and why your mental health can often suffer.
Yeah.
But we'll end this episode here because we want to keep him like reasonably brief. Thank you for listening in.
Thank you so much. What will we talking about next week?
Who knows? No, let us know if you think you might have ADHD or you have it, like what are some contradictions that you struggle with? Comment on our videos. Let us know if there's any experiences that you relate to or that you have had with ADHD or even just ADHD and autism, because we'd love to hear from you. We've also got a Google form in our link tree that you can submit questions, and even just, you don't have to submit a question, even just tell us about yourself if you want. Tell us what your experience with AuDHD has been, and we will catch you next week for another episode.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Bye.